Welcome, everyone, to That Kind of Nerds podcast, a weekly show where we tell you what is going on in the nerdy world.
And where, if you listen really closely, you can hear a bag of
the subtle sound of CJ being oppressed.
help him being oppressed. I am CJ Mullen, of course, joined by the stars of the show, Josh Burns and Brian Thornton.
What's going on?
Hello. I am a shining star. I'm also a firework.
Gotta let those colors burst.
Whore.
Make him go, So let's start off with some really awesome, cool, nerdy news from the start. So E3, the Entertainment Electronics Exposition, which I believe this was called, is opening up for the first time to the public. This is a big deal because this is where Sony, Microsoft, Ubisoft, Nintendo hold their big press conferences, is where they showed off future consoles, where they really talk about what's going on in the gaming world. And you had to be really a member of the press or a member of like a development team making a game in order to go. And fans have been clamoring for years for the ability to go as just a general Joe Schmo and play demos and see things that the general public doesn't get to see till much later. I am super excited for this. Tickets are going to be about $150 from what I can remember. If you do the early bird, normally $200. I think it's a pretty damn fair price to go to a convention in Las Vegas. Brian, you've watched E3 a million times. Are you excited at all about the possibility that now anyone can just go?
Well, I would beg to differ because E3 is not a million years old, nor am I. But, yes, I do want to go. All you gotta do is say the word, CJ. I'll buy the plane ticket today. I'm super stoked. Very excited. I want to see all the trailers, and I want to play all the games.
You know when you get, like, a bunch of people, say 300 or more, in one small room that's poorly air-conditioned, and you're just standing there sweating. That's what...
Sounds like a bad time for Josh.
That's what this is going to be. That's what it's going to be. And like Comic-Con is cool, but that's the thing. You walk in there and it's just like, why are all these sweaty people near me?
I apologize. I made a mistake. It is not in Las Vegas. It's in LA. The Los Angeles Convention Center is where it'll be taking place.
That's even worse.
June 13th to 15th. I'm thinking large space air conditioned, Josh. It's California.
Bro, it's going to be a large space that's going to be so poorly air conditioned because it's big and the doors are constantly being open and it's 105 fucking degrees in LA in June. And then we're going to pack thousands of people in there, all just breathing. And then we're also going to put all these computer machines everywhere.
God damn those people for breathing.
And those computer machines.
Right. They're just heating up everything. Consoles. All that shit. No fans.
But there's booth girls. That makes it worth it. They'll be hot and sweaty,
You're gonna
too.
have a bad time.
I disagree, sir. If I can play a demo early before you can, I will say...
I'm not so sure. I heard someone told me once that California knows how to party.
They do. They do. I was playing... I watched this trailer for the Tupac movie. And then I'm finding radio edits on Apple Music and playing them for my kids. Like, so you not yet, but you'll hear all this when you're a teenager, and I'll make sure you listen to the right stuff. This is the guy. This is one of the guys, and the kids were just like, "Ew." I was crestfallen, CJ.
They're too young yet. They have to rebel against you before they're like, yeah, Tupac, all right. I mean, they've really got to just like...
No, they're not there. They're not there yet. They're not at the rebel stage.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You got them too early. I mean, I applaud you for getting them early, but they just don't get it because they don't have that...
Because parents just don't understand.
They don't have the angst that you need to love. You're just going to go with this whole lyric game, aren't you, bro?
Whole episode.
Jesus, I apologize.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Brett's Bumblebee. It's not even Brian there, right? It's just putting random quotes from movies and radio and
they're not
TV
always like equivalent to what's happening within.
But I'm just saying he's Bumblebee right now. He's not even Brian.
Y'all just jelly of my swag.
Oh wow, not anymore. I've had a couple of people that said that they would love to go with us. Josh, I think you're like hard passing on going to E3 from what I can tell.
I'm hard passing on LA in June.
I think it's worth it, man. I got to be honest. Ever since I could appreciate E3, this has been on my bucket list. I wanted to figure out a way to go. I tried once before to get a press credential when I was doing another website, which of course didn't work at all. And I have a couple friends who have gotten to go to E3 and they bragged about it, and I've been extremely jealous. So, dude, I'll gladly
what sucks?
plonk down $150 for it.
Unless you're ready to leave your 8.5 pregnant wife home for
worst
a week,
part,
you
man.
can't go.
She's never gonna let me go. It's just too many days, and it's too close to a new baby coming.
Too close. Too close
Yeah,
to it.
she
You're
literally
not
just
gonna be able
walked
to
into
go.
the room, by the way, to tell me no. Literally walked into the room right now, listener, to tell me no.
I believe it.
There's no word if E3 2018 or future E3 expos will be open to the public. The tickets go on sale February 13th. So you're going to be
So, like,
So today, when you're listening to this, right now, they're on sale. $150 as part of the early bird discount. Normally $250. Brian, go and take pictures on like you did when you went to Comic-Con. You poor little
Are
bastard.
you kidding me? I took shit tons of pictures for Comic-Con.
Yeah, but like I had to like prod you
I
to
sent
do
them
it.
all to you.
Anyway,
I'm sorry I didn't take any selfies, CJ. That's not how I roll, all right?
I'm surprised you weren't walking around with your selfie stick doing that. All right, let's move on to some movie news because there's a lot of things that came out, movie/streaming, in my opinion, that we're going to talk about. The first is confirmed by Kevin Smith. Jay and Silent Bob reboot is in the works. Apparently, Kevin Smith is writing the script, and Miramax is actually on board for this because this is one of the few properties that he actually owns. Because he doesn't own Clerks, he doesn't own Dogma, he doesn't own Chasing Amy. So he actually owns this. Does the world need another Jay and Silent Bob reboot?
Yes.
The world always needs a Jay and Silent Bob.
I agree with
God.
you.
How's that even a question?
Because friend of the show, Craig Newcomb, said that this was unnecessary and no one needs this.
Craig
Listen,
Newcomb
it
is
is-
unnecessary.
It is not the movie that the world needs right now, but it's the one it deserves.
Oh, man.
Oh, Brian. And Craig knows I don't actually mean that, but that's a ridiculous opinion to have. Like, anytime you can get some Kevin Smith, you need to get some Kevin Smith.
Except for Tusk.
Well, no, man.
No,
It's
I
got
like
its
Tusk.
got its place.
I guess so. But again, this
And
is
Yoga Hosers. Yoga Hosers was good.
I
by the
enjoyed
way.
Yoga Hosers.
I enjoyed it as well.
Good. Kevin Smith said that this is going to be just like it was originally. This is going to be a lot of commentary on Hollywood, especially with what's going on right now within Hollywood and their fascination to do reboots. So he's going to reboot and then satire the fact that reboots happen, which I think Kevin Smith can pull off. He's really said that he's misdirecting and writing a little bit, especially when he's done so much for the CW and Supergirl and Flash, and maybe he's got a
No, man.
Legends of Tomorrow.
It might be simpler than that. Maybe Muse burned through all his money.
Muse just directed a movie with Terry Hatcher.
No, I know. I'm just joking.
Nah, I
think-
really think and listen, I don't know anything about the human being that is Kevin Smith, just what I know from his podcast.
like a genuinely good dude.
He's a genuinely good dude, and B, he really enjoys writing. He hasn't done a lot of it. He, like you said, he's directed 2 episodes of The Flash. He's actually directing a 2nd episode of Supergirl. He directed an episode of The Goldbergs on Fox.
That's ABC.
I'm sorry, ABC. And he is doing a Buckaroo Banzai
Yes.
Amazon pilot. Like,
That's
he's
cool.
directing that.
So the Mallrats project is dead, though.
He hasn't done a lot of writing in a while. Mallrats got picked up by somebody as well.
I don't remember. He just said
who.
that he said in his Facebook post,
It's
no one
dead.
bought Mallrats.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a shame.
That was going to be a movie. The movie fell through. He was going to make the TV series. No one bought it. So hey, listen, he owns these characters. He doesn't own his others. He really wants to do this. I'm all for it. I was just putting out there another person's opinion and asking for your question or your
That person's opinion is wrong.
I agree. So actually, here's a question where maybe someone's opinion could be wrong. The Magic School Bus Rides Again is a reboot of the Magic School Bus cartoon, and it's going to be starring Kate McKinnon as Miss Frizzle. It will be an animated show coming to Netflix. Do any of you have an attachment to the Magic School Bus, or am I like the only person who cares about this?
I've never.
You are
seen
the
it.
only person who cares about this.
Man, okay, so Kate McKinnon, though, you know her from Saturday Night Live and Ghostbusters, the female Ghostbusters cast. She was
She was also
she's
in
great.
Office Christmas Party.
I didn't see that.
She was actually like probably the only part of Ghostbusters
I liked, right? Okay, so you guys, I mean, I not grew up, but I enjoyed watching the Magic School Bus, and the theme gets stuck in my head every now and then. It's pretty cool, but I like the fact that Kate McKinnon, she's pretty funny. She does a pretty good job. Like I said, she was one of the redeeming factors of Ghostbusters. She'll be playing Miss Frizzle. I think it works perfectly fine. And this is another example of Netflix doing a good job of grabbing a series that should be remade or should be done and going forth, and almost like Arrested Development and a couple other shows. I think this is good news. If you're a fan of the Magic School Bus, I don't think you should be yelling or screaming or being upset about this.
I'm not sure that fans of the Magic School Bus yell or scream about much.
I don't know, man. They're still, never mind. I don't know. You may be right there.
Aren't they children? Like, aren't they?
Well, now they're just stoner.
No,
millennials.
they're grown up now.
Yeah, they're just stoner millennials now who still watch it when they're high.
No. They forgot all about it. It's like everybody else. Like it's kids that know
Up on
it.
the Magic School, up a river of lava. Sorry, I love that.
Stop.
Oh, you're the only one who gets to do singing? Is that how this works?
No, I don't. I don't even like to do that. You then just save the audio file and turn it into a running segment.
All right, so
apparently.
speaking of shows that Netflix is saving or bringing back, Bill Nye Saves the World is going to premiere on April 21st. Everything about that sentence is right. There's nothing wrong with
Bill Nye
that
saves
sentence.
my world all the time.
So Bill Nye is going to be covering subjects from global warming, GMOs, sex, and alternative medicine.
It's Bill Nye the Science Guy for grown-ups.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know, and it's amazing.
So it's half Bill Nye, half talk show. It looks just so good. I mean, Donald Faison, Rachel Bloom, Zach Braff, they're making cameos for the celebrities. He has a lot of people from the scientific community coming on. I really hope Neil deGrasse Tyson is one of those guys, because I think those two together are magical. They make learning fun. This is fantastic.
They would not aspire to your description of magical.
Do they succeed that? What do you?
No, they don't believe in magic. They're
Oh, that's
scientists,
true.
for crying out loud, CJ.
What do you think about
There's
this, Brian?
no basis for fact behind magic.
Chris Angel will beg to differ.
Chris Angel is a master illusionist, and everything he does is,
Illusions?
you can explain with science.
So, Brian, you elated and screamed and
I
shouted.
did elate and scream and was extremely happy when I saw this trailer.
Were you a big Bill Nye
Why?
the Science Guy?
Are you gonna ask why?
Yes, why? Why?
Yes. I was the kid who had no friends and was a science nerd. Of course, I watched Bill Nye the Science Guy growing up, and it was amazing. And now I'm a grown up with few friends, and I still want to watch Bill Nye the Science
Bill
Guy.
Nye the Science Guy. Bill.
I saw him
Bill.
speak I saw him speak while I was at Penn State once, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
He was great.
And I mean, everything he's been doing on YouTube and other series and coming on the talk shows has just been fantastic.
He's entertaining. He really makes really high thought processes really entertaining and makes it understandable for everybody, children and adults alike. And he's funny. He really is. When I saw him speak in college, like, we were all just like sitting through the 2 or 3 other people before him going, when the hell is Bill going to show up? And then they were like, okay, and Bill Nye the Science Guy. And like the entire stadium was just screaming, Bill, 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 while he was riding in on a Segway. And it was awesome. One of my favorite college movies.
Everything you just said is Bill Nye the Science Guy. Just all of that in one sentence. So, Josh, you've been very quiet. Did you have Bill Nye the Science Guy on your radar at all? Like, ever?
I've never seen an episode, and it's not not intentional. I just don't think it was relevant when I was
That makes sense.
a kid watching TV.
Would you watch this series?
Why?
Why? Because he's going to explain science in really cool, understanding ways and have really cool people on there. And
No. I mean, maybe. It's not. I'm not interested by it.
not interested in learning facts about science? All right.
Not on purpose.
Science in a word is just facts. You're it's like a double negative. Just say you're not interested in learning about science, not facts about science. Science itself is a fact-based science. It's a fact.
All right, so Josh is not interested in learning about science and will not intentionally watch this show. I don't think
Not
this
on
is.
purpose.
I don't even think this is a show you should make the kids watch. I don't think the kids can watch this.
Nah, it's more
This,
grown up.
this strikes me as the grown-up Bill Nye the Science Guy, which is awesome. All right, let's talk about the Super Bowl, and mainly just about the trailers that happened during the Super Bowl.
No. Let's give Josh 5 minutes to talk about the game.
All right.
I watched the game.
Yeah.
I was neither here nor there. It was a good game. I will tell you that. As someone who does not care for football, I was even like, oh, wow, that was a really, intense game. But yeah, Josh, what did you think of the game? Lady Gaga was a wonderful performer, by the way.
Best halftime show since Prince. Yeah, absolutely. And here's what I think. And I've said this. Well, I've said this a lot of times in the past couple weeks. My call was Patriots going to halftime, trailing by 13, win by 10. So my prediction was at halftime the score would be 20-7 Falcons, and the Patriots would score 23 unanswered points
You were pretty damn close.
and win by 10. Now,
I remember watching this game and going, holy shit, Josh is like pretty damn close to being right.
Right. So people started texting me at halftime. I mean, people started hammering me at halftime. Oh, it's good job, Nostradamus. And I'm like, hey, I said they'd go in trailing by 13 and win by 10. They're down 17, whatever it was. I'm thinking they probably win by 6. Well, wait, what are you saying? And I'm like, Patriots win. The Patriots are going to win this game. They scored 25 unanswered points and won by 6. Now, it's not a big deal because this is what Bill Belichick does. It was the best Super Bowl in my memory, other than the first Super Bowl I watched, which is why I'm a Washington Redskins fan. I loved it. And the best part of the whole game was that Christian could stay up for the whole game, watch it with me, and actually he got it. Like, he understood what was happening. And even though he was rooting
Can he explain it to me?
Even though he was rooting for the Falcons, he understood the significance of what was happening, which was really cool. He never stopped talking trash the entire game. But man,
like father, like son.
it was the best part of the game for me, and I'll remember the Super Bowl forever. I'll tell my grandkids about it.
I told like 3 people at work about it, and that's where I'll stop. My conversation was, yes, I watched the game. Cool.
I was
Get back to work.
watching a show on Hulu and then edited our podcast. And that's
The commercials were subpar.
yes, they were.
The commercials were quite disappointing.
But there was a few
The trailers were pretty good.
that we need to talk about.
The trailers were pretty good.
The first one I want to talk about is Transformers: The Last Night. Yeah. Which to me has that new Fast and Furious movie, but with Transformers, because Optimus
Prime is brainwashed.
Yeah.
Right.
He's beating the shit out of Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Makes me
Right.
sad and kind
Right.
of.
It's the exact same story, though.
It is the Fast and Furious
Whatever.
movie with
Transformers did it first.
But did they?
I mean, the Fate of the Furious trailer came out
Before
a while
this.
ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, CJ, the Super Bowl is in the first place there was a teaser
maybe
out a
that's
couple
true.
weeks ago.
But
Yes.
But anyway, it was there during the Super Bowl. I thought it was funny that it reminded me of Fast and Furious. That's my note. It was like, feels like Fast and Furious. But I'm still going to go see it, and I'm going to watch shit blow up, and I hope there's no racist robots this time, and we'll be fine.
Transformers, man. It's good.
They haven't
Mark
had racist
Wahlberg.
robots for 2 movies. Calm your shit.
I just listen. Michael Bay says again that this is his last Transformers movie, like he said last time.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna kind of be like, well, there may not be an E3 next year. We haven't said that, right? Until they see all the money that the ticket sales bring in, and they go, "Oh, E3 everybody."
year. Well, E3
Bigger
is
and bigger and bigger.
E3
This will be the
is
best
every year.
E3 ever.
I thought it was cool. Of course, I'm going to put down my money to go see it. So there's that. So the next movie we're going to talk about is Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Sign me up.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Johnny Depp's willing to put on that costume and go do it. The trailer.
Look, Do you not like one of the previous movies? I thought they were all good.
I don't like the third one, and I'm not a huge fan of the fourth one.
Thank you. I echo the same sentiment.
The third one,
I vehemently dislike the third one.
Yeah, the third one was nauseatingly
not gonna
bad.
lie. At World's End is the one where they go to the edge of the world to get Jack back, and then there's these like tons of different like pirate captains, and Elizabeth Swann becomes a pirate captain.
Yeah.
which is the
why
one with
no one
Keith
knows
Richards and the 9 Pieces of 8.
That's the third one.
Yeah, I like that one.
No.
Yeah, no, not a big fan. And
I
then the
don't.
movie
Keith
right after
Richards-
that is bad too. The one where
Listen, the 10 minutes that Keith Richards is in it is great.
Great.
Everything else about that movie is kind of
thank
garbage.
you. Yes.
You guys are
And convoluted.
You're being mean
it
to
makes
Johnny
no
Depp right
goddamn
now.
sense.
Johnny Depp doesn't even watch the movies. He just films it and then dresses
And
in the
I'm
costume and goes
fine
to
if
children's
you're
hospitals.
mean to Johnny Depp in that you're being mean to Tim Burton. That's fine, but not this way.
I am a fan of the series as a whole because the first one was so great and the second one was still pretty good.
I like the second one.
I'm willing to believe that they've gotten their shit right because it's been like 3 years since the last movie.
All right, so you're optimistic.
I'm optimistic.
Yes.
I feel like 2, 3, and 4, they were just like, we got to do something because this is huge, and they were just trying to make money, and they churned out a shitty story.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it was a shitty story.
You guys go out there and you just pick it apart. Just go sit down and watch it and
Tell me the
just be a
story. No.
child.
Tell me the story of
do.
3 in a way that makes sense. Go ahead, please. I love.
Oh man, I saw it once and I was like, oh, that was fun.
The fact that you won't watch it again shows that it's not a good movie.
If I said, "Hey, listen, we could watch Pirates 1 or Pirates 3 right now," which one are you going to pick?
Pirates 1.
Right.
Yeah, well, everybody would pick one, right? It doesn't have to be like you're not going, well, let me watch Tokyo Drift again, but you watch it.
I do not.
Yeah, I watch it. I'll watch it. If it's on, if I'm flipping through and it's on, I'll watch Tokyo Drift. That's what I'm saying. It's okay, so maybe 3 was Tokyo Drift, fine. But as a franchise, I think it's okay. If that shit's on, I will watch it.
It looks good. It looks like it's going to be a little bit more like the first one. Jeffrey Rush is back again, and he looks pretty cool. And obviously Johnny Depp is back. I think Orlando Bloom might be back
I saw
too.
Orlando Bloom in there and Keira Knightley.
I think I saw him for like 2 seconds, and I was like,
had a lot
"Is
of
that
hair
Orlando
and like a
Bloom?"
scar on his face, right?
Yeah,
okay.
but I couldn't tell because his giant schlong wasn't anywhere to be seen.
What?
So, what? Did you not see that picture?
No, I usually don't go after male genitalia.
I don't.
It was all over the internet, like for a while. Like you didn't see it on Imgur or anything, because that's where I saw it. I don't feel like I can't believe I have to go into detail about this. There was a picture of him kayaking with Katy Perry, like full on, like bare naked lady style, just going, smiling because he's with Katy Perry, who wouldn't be, and like you see the shadow of his thing. It's like the Loch Ness monster was coming out of that kayak. It was crazy.
Is it possible that it was the angle? Like
It was not just the angle of his dangle, because apparently there were like
it was
full-on
also the
photos.
heat of his meat.
You
is what you're
realize
saying?
your parents listen to this show, right? Like you
So
know that.
here's
I have yet to hear a complaint from either of my parents.
Your shadow's always 10 feet tall. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Is that your shadow's always 10 feet tall? Like at what angle was the sun? You don't know.
I don't know. I don't have the picture readily available, Josh.
I'm just having not seen the picture. I guess I'm saying kind of picture it didn't happen. Like if you didn't
You can
if
Google
you didn't
that
see,
shit.
No, but like.
But my point is, there is
Are
a
there
pic.
pics of the genuine artifact, or are there pics of a shadow?
They're pics of the genuine artifact. Some of them are of a shadow. I don't know. I only saw the shadow photo. I can't believe I'm in this argument with you right now, Josh.
Okay. There's way too much of this.
I refuse to know. I don't. I'm not going to research it now. I'm
Look,
just
man,
saying.
you brought it up. I'm just saying, if you're
I'm
going to
just-
bring it up, let's talk about
I made
it.
a fucking joke.
all right.
I thought you guys would get
Intelligently,
it.
at the very least. I just don't, I'm not saying be embarrassed about it. Let's at least talk about it. I'm trying to figure out scientifically, Bill Nye, what are we really talking about?
Then
Are
I
we talking
want
about
you
a
to
shadow?
fucking Google image search Orlando Bloom
You're the one
kayaking.
talking about the angle of the dangle and the heat of the meat. I don't need all of it. I just want to know, like, I mean, objectively,
I'm just saying, I saw somewhere on Imager or something. It was.
This is the part where I awkwardly say, Empire, it's Dead Man Tell No Tales comes out May 26th.
Sounds like Dead Men might tell some tales.
Right. If they come in contact with that giant schlong, they will.
Too bad he's not in
Stop
Deadwood.
saying giant schlong. Like, I mean, that's a few times you've said it. I don't think I can say it. I don't think I can like muster up the intestinal fortitude to say it again.
Well, after that,
Segway.
it's time for our favorite segment of the entire podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Cape Talk.
Cape Talk.
Starting off today's Cape Talk is actually a fan of the show who has a question for us about the CW. So go ahead.
Hi, this is Austin from Whiteland, Indiana. I've been listening to you guys for almost a year now, and this is my first time calling in.
Woo!
So my question is about the latest season of Arrow. Now, I don't know if you all have caught up yet, so spoiler alert just in case. So this season of Arrow, we meet Talia al Ghul. We find out that she is the one that pushes Oliver to return to Starling City and follow his dad's list. My question here is, how did we get an entire season of Ra's al Ghul and get an entirely different Al Ghul daughter and never even hear Talia's name spoken? My only guess would have to be that Flashpoint changed something, and that's how we've gotten Talia. But I just want to know what you guys think about it, and can you elaborate on this character reveal? Thank you.
So first off, thank you, Austin, for calling in, and thanks for listening to the show. This is where I pass the baton to other people because I have not seen this season of Arrow, and Brian looks like he has a bunch of opinions. So go ahead, Brian, loosen up and tell us what you got.
Oh, Josh, are you caught up on Arrow?
Not fully.
Okay.
But
Here
I
we go.
have seen some.
I got this shit. Let's do this. All right. So, Austin, like CJ said, thank you for calling in. It was wonderful to hear your voice. If I recall correctly, and I'm going to have to rewatch some previous seasons of Arrow, most notably season 3, I'm almost positive there are several references to Raz's other daughter. She just doesn't show up in it. Nissa makes several references to a sister that she had. I'm almost positive of that fact. What I know for sure is that in Legends of Tomorrow, when Sarah is lost in time and in an earlier time, and they pick Sarah back up at the League of Assassins,
It's Talia.
it's Talia there.
Yeah.
The little girl's Talia. It's not Nissa.
Right.
So
That was actually one of my favorite Legends moments.
right. So we know Talia exists. I don't think Flashpoint had anything to do with it. I think they just didn't spend too much time saying, well, this, Talia isn't around for whatever reason.
Well, I like that take though, and again, Austin, to be completely redundant, really appreciate the call. You probably don't need to hear it 3 times. So
Well,
take,
he had to hear it from you. It only counts if it's from you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter from me or from Brian. It's only from you.
I guess the thing about that take that I like is that what we have seen thus far, and I can't confirm Brian's theory that it's mentioned earlier because I don't recall that. I do. We've heard Nissa talk about other people. I can't recall if it was in any way a reference that I would take as Talia. But the Legends thing I do remember, and the Flashpoint take could very well mean that it's a different type of character than it was in Legends, and that's cool. So I'm fine with either theory. I think that that CW and DC have a ton of different ways they can take this character and still keep Nissa relevant, which it didn't seem like, Brian, from the Legends thing that would be possible, right? So that the thing I got from Legends was that Nissa was much, much, much older. And the thing that I'm hearing from Arrow is that maybe it's not so much, which is where the Flashpoint take comes in.
If I recall in that Legends episode, she says something to Raz about a daughter he's going to have, which is Nissa. Nissa's a younger sister to Talia. So I mean, I don't think she's like much older or anything like that. I mean, Sarah was back there in like 1948 or something like crazy like that. So like, I mean, I find it completely believable that Talia grew up in the League of Shadows and in like the 60s or, you know, later, maybe like when Oliver was, you know, in Russia, branched out on her own and like left, not maybe didn't leave the League of Assassins, but left the temple to go do her own thing. And you know, Nyssa then grew up and became the character that we know in Arrow. I don't think anything's changed. I just think maybe there was just this character that they probably didn't think they could have used until now. Like the whole thing, there's a really interesting article, and I can't believe I don't remember where I read it, that I forget who it was with, but they were talking about the fact that in season 1 of Arrow, season 2 of Arrow, they wanted to introduce the League of Assassins. And at first, Warner Brothers wouldn't let them because League of Assassins is a Batman thing. And, you know, the Batman Begins and Dark Knight was very heavy on the League of Assassins. They used Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins, obviously. So, and they were like, we don't want the two to cross over. And they were like, well, it's just the League. We're not taking any major characters. And then once they kind of ingrained the League of Assassins in the story, they're like, oh, by the way, we're going to do Ra's al Ghul.
We're going to go ahead and take these characters.
And they're like, wait, you can't do Ra's al Ghul. They're like, it's too late. We're doing it.
We've already filmed it. I'm sorry.
And like they kind of muscled that in. So I fully believe that they're like, maybe Warner Brothers was like, all right, you can do Ra's, but you can't take Talia. And then they were like, okay, we won't take Talia because Talia is a huge character in the Batman mythos. Like she is his lover and the mother to his daughter, his son, Damian, and all of this other stuff. So I believe full-heartedly that like they probably, you know, threw in a couple references to Talia, not thinking that they were going to be able to use her fully. And then, you know, Arrow season 5 came around. They were probably like, by the way, we're going to use Talia. And they're like, wait, no, you can't use Talia. They're like, Dark Knight was like 3 years ago, bro. We're using Talia. So
go hire a director for Flash.
Yeah, you stop worrying about the CW and worry about your shit show of a movie universe. Like, we got this. So I think that's probably the situation that we were in. So I'm pretty sure I remember other references in the Arrow series to Talia, but I know for a fact they showed her in Legends. And I don't think there's any like discrepancies or anything. I think this is just a character. They're like, hey, we can use her now. And wouldn't it be cool if she was like kind of in Ollie's backstory and like she's the reason that like he takes on this persona of the Arrow and that like he maybe even gets better with the bow and arrow? Because right now he's not a great fighter. Like we're in the 5th season of these flashbacks and we're like, when did Ollie learn to fight? Well, now here it is. Talia's probably going to train him to be a badass. So I think that's where they're going with it. That's just my guess, my musings. If you know, you care to know, that's the answer to my question. To the question.
Yep.
Now, Austin, if you find any of that to be incorrect, I would love for you to let Brian know that he was wrong. There's nothing sweeter than putting Brian in his place. So I'm just
listen, Austin.
saying.
I was put on the spot, and I did not know you had left a voicemail. If you want to come back and tell me I was wrong, by all means. But I will now rewatch all of Arrow just to prove that I'm right.
But thank you, Austin, again, really seriously for the call, and thanks for listening. We're so excited to have you listening to our show. So let's talk about some other things that we're super excited about. And now listen, I want the penis references at 2. Everyone gets 2. Iron Fist. I've
got an Iron Fist for you.
They just released a final trailer for Iron Fist. It looks, it looks awesome. I mean, can it not look awesome? It looks so good. What do you guys think about this trailer? Ryan, I think you almost had a freaking aneurysm when you saw that it had dropped.
Did I? Because I texted you motherfuckers and no one responded. So I did have an aneurysm when it dropped. And then, you know, I got better and then I watched it again. And then I was really excited and I was still pissed that no one texted me back. It's going to be great. It looks good. I'm excited to see where they go with this series. There's so many like, because in the 70s, like Marvel had like a bunch of different like martial arts characters that they can kind of throw into this universe. I know I've already talked about it in the past with like introducing Shang-Chi and that entire universe and thing. I think it's going to be great. And like, I I think the show itself looks great. I think it's going to be this really interesting mix of kind of the feel of Luke Cage mixed with the martial arts story of Daredevil, and I think that's interesting. More importantly, I got even more excited because this just means I'm that much closer to Defenders. I really want to see Defenders.
No, it looks really great. It obviously harkens back a little bit towards like Iron Man or one of those comic movies of, hey, I'm back after 15 years. Yeah, I'm in charge here. Hey, how are you? I run a multi-million-dollar conglomerate. But man, it looks so good. I love the fact when he goes, I am the Iron Fist. And Night Nurse is like, what does that mean? Because that's the question that most fans who don't know who Iron Fist is asked. Like, what is with the iron? Like, what is this? Like, I don't understand. But you really,
it is
you get to see it.
Technique.
You get to see it immediately after the fact. It looks so good.
Yeah, I mean, the character of Iron Fist, like he masters his technique to be able to channel all of his chi into like one punch and be able to just decimate shit. And you saw in the trailer, he freaking takes out like an entire building just by punching the ground and things like that. And it's gonna be so cool. And I don't need to see the flared disco collar like in action. If they just do one little scene where like they did in Luke Cage, I'm okay with it.
Right.
My favorite part of that trailer, honestly, wasn't even like all the martial arts stuff, which was awesome, but like the beginning where he's walking into his own building barefoot. He looks like a hobo. He's like, hey, yeah, I own this company. I'm going to go upstairs now. And they're like, what? And they're trying to take him out of it and everything. I thought that was great. I think it's going to be a really good mixture of humor as well as like the, kind of dark and gritty feel, which I feel like some of the Netflix shows so far, as great as they are, don't have a whole lot of that. A lot of it is very dark and morose and like, it's depressing. Like Matt Murdock just can't catch a freaking break. And like, we all love Matt Murdock for that. But we need kind of like a little levity when, it's time for him to be a part of a team. And I think Iron Fist can bring that. And I'm really excited. And I'm going to stop talking right now because my excitement is really kind of showing. So I'm just going to cool down. I'm going to let Josh speak because it looks like he wants to say something.
I think it is going to be pretty dark. And I don't think it's going to be... I think this is going to be a lot more like Luke Cage than anything else. And for a couple reasons. Iron Fist... I had no idea about Iron Fist as a character until I started listening to Wu-Tang Clan in the early 90s. So RZA is such a fan of martial arts in general, but this comic book series he's got a passion for. And you heard solid music in the trailer. Musically, this is going to be an amazing series. RZA directed episode 6 of Iron Fist. So, music is going to be big. And that you sold me immediately based on the music in the trailer. So I was very happy with what I saw. I don't know from the character himself. I didn't follow, never watched anything. I don't know. Or I don't know anything about him. But the culture behind it, the sort of the hip hop culture that's behind it, it's gonna be dark. It's I don't think it's gonna be very broad collar 70s type stuff, Brian. I think it's gonna be very
I don't want it to be. I just
no. It's gonna be very modern and it's gonna be very raw, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Josh, wait, Josh, you did not make an Iron Fist penis joke. We can't move on until you do.
Penis. So
and there we go. Iron Fist is going to hit Netflix in its entirety on March 17th.
There's so much to do in March.
So much to do. So much to see. There's so much wrong with taking the back street.
I'm just taking off the entire month from work and I'm just watching movies and watching Iron Fist. That's what I'm doing.
Did you just fucking quote Smash Mouth?
Yes, I did.
On this podcast, you quoted fucking Smash Mouth.
Yes, it did. I'm surprised it took you that long.
I need you to take it back. I need you to take it back. It's not an acceptable reference to anything.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, CJ, if you're going to do that, you might as well just walk on the sun.
So that is the end of our Cape Talk this week, ladies and gentlemen. And man, did I not realize how many phallic jokes were going to come out of it, and I apologize. I do have a quick thing.
Why do you apologize? You're the one who says we go lowbrow sometimes.
Listen, we went
A lot of
lowbrow.
times.
This is episode 3. We went really lowbrow. So I did want to do some follow up from Brian Roman had actually asked us a question, and I'm really surprised that we haven't talked about this. We haven't talked about Rogue One on this podcast, whether we liked it or not, whether we
briefly talked about it. I thought
briefly talked about it, but we didn't like. I mean, do you want to expand on it a little more?
I'm afraid that Josh is going to shit on it and I'll get upset.
Because we did it without Josh. That was it. We did
it without Josh.
So here's the thing.
All right.
We didn't talk about Rogue One on this podcast with Josh Burns present. It was just Brian and I, and we gave like quick impressions. It was that 30-minute episode that we did. So I think Josh, have you seen Rogue One?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm very curious to hear your thoughts about it.
I'm not. I know what his thoughts are.
I slept through the entire movie.
Yep, there it is.
I sat down. I fell asleep. I woke up when they were on the platform and her father. It was her father. Was it the girl's father got killed
Yeah.
Yep.
on that platform there?
Yep.
I woke up then. I went back to sleep.
So Josh didn't like it.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Wow.
I didn't say it. No, I didn't say I didn't like it. I actually did not see it. At all.
Okay.
Right, but I mean,
So,
was there a particular reason
really
why you
can't
fell
draw an
asleep, or
opinion.
it just didn't hold your interest and you fell asleep? Ergo, you didn't like it.
I don't know, man. I
Or you
from
just
the
getting
beginning,
old.
I kind of felt like we know the outcome of this story, right? Everybody dies, and Leia has the plans. I don't know. I wasn't interested
Now, wait
in
a minute.
it.
The
kids liked it.
I made that same argument for Planet of the Apes. Oh, well, we know that the apes take over the planet and we win. Yeah, but it's the story about how you get there. You guys sat there and defended that movie. You're going to apply that exact same logic to this movie.
Whoa.
I don't know. I
mean,
guess
you
I just
guys?
wasn't interested.
You both yelled at me for saying that.
No, I remember the Planet of the Apes conversation. This one was just, I don't know, man. I'll tell you what. So I slept through that, and on the flight to San Francisco on Wednesday, Doctor Strange was one of the movies that was available for free. So I watched Doctor Strange, which I also had no interest in seeing, and I like that very much. Rogue One, I don't know, man. My brain just went into shutdown. Like the movie started, I watched a few minutes, and my brain just shut off. And that was it.
So, Josh, I just think maybe you also reached the age where we can't leave you in a dark movie theater by yourself, and you fall asleep and you yell at kids to get off your front lawn. I don't know, maybe that.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man.
He's Clint Eastwood and Grant
That's
Trainor.
exactly what just not
I don't
just
think
not
I am.
racist.
Look, I mean, was anybody over the moon about that movie?
I was.
I loved
and
it.
a lot of people were.
Yeah, I was really happy.
Loved it. Really, loved it.
Really loved it.
Really loved it.
Like, Josh, the moon was down here, and I was above it, going over the moon.
I didn't
I
hear
was like a
anything bad
cow
about it. I
who
just
jumped
over the moon.
over the moon.
Solid rent reference, bro.
Yeah, but no, I was. I mean, I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people who weren't really into the Star Wars franchise who did like this movie, and I guess maybe
Well,
that's
when
the
it-
thing.
When it hits iTunes, I'll buy it. I'll watch it again. It's not the movie that I'm excited about right now. The movie that I'm excited about right now that I've watched 4 times in the past, I don't know, week and a half ish. Arrival.
Oh, it's a great movie, right?
Oh my God.
I know Papa Thornton's not going to agree with that, but it's a good movie.
So good. It was so good.
I don't know if I can immediately say I trust your movie opinion after you fell asleep in Rogue One, but you're on my side at this point, so I'll take it.
I don't agree with you
It
guys.
was so good.
So good.
You know what? You don't have children. You need to have children.
But,
It has
Papa
nothing to do
Thornton
with
has
that.
Children.
Has nothing to do with it, with the children. This movie, I watched it, and I was not as impressed as all of you MFers are with this movie. Listen, like, if it weren't for those last 20 minutes, it would have been a bad movie. It was
that's the
boring.
whole-
But isn't that the
That's the
point?
whole
That
point.
it's not linear.
But the point is, it was boring for
But-
90%
but
of
when
that fucking
when
movie.
when you accept the movie as non-linear,
Yes. Then
it's
a
amazing.
great movie.
It's really, really good. Like the moment you suspend your disbelief and just go, so the whole thing is a giant circle and there's no time.
I get it. I get it.
So good.
I just wasn't impressed. I get it. I understand it. It's not like over my head or anything. I just felt like this movie was good. It was just that the story was so boring until the last until the big reveal.
I mean, even the whole mystery of what they're doing, what do they mean, what do they want?
I respect your opinion. I don't understand it, and that's all. That's all there is to it.
That's fine.
Get it.
Let's not rehash old movies. Although Brian was wrong in his opinion on this one.
I will say this: I watched that, and I watched Collateral Beauty in the same day, and I really enjoyed.
I heard Collateral Beauty was a piece of dog crap.
I actually enjoyed it.
I don't think I'll ever watch that.
I don't think I'm going to.
No, you don't have to. It's a good for a one-time watch, but I don't think you would enjoy it. Either of you, honestly. I don't think either of you should watch it. Because you have kids, you should not watch that movie.
All of this leads me to my next topic, and I want you to follow along with me because it's all connected. It's time for our tech perspective. Fred Zeppelin is looking to change the way you learn to play guitar. What it is, it's a LED row that goes underneath your guitar by your frets and will light up and will show you where to put your fingers on for either the chord or the note that's coming up next or the one that you're supposed to be playing now. So it's a way to learn how to play the guitar using LED lights. And a fan of the show, who is a guitarist, wrote in, gave us a small review, and I wanted to read it. These types of products have been on the market in one form or another for many years, and they've been used for either the guitar or the piano, but this is the first time that it's actually been linked to an app on a phone or a tablet. So let's start with the obvious. This is a merging of two tech products into one, and it's only $199, which is actually a pretty affordable price for beginners. So all you have to do is pick this up and, of course, a guitar. After you download Fred Zeppelin, you download the app onto your phone, and you can choose any song to learn to play from. So for beginners, this guitarist recommends that you keep it simple. Don't whip out complicated bad chords or go to really complicated songs because you're going to get discouraged. This is a great way to kind of feel like it's like Rock Band or a Guitar Hero, and it shows the different colors as to where to place your fingers. Once you have your song, if you really get into it and you actually know the song pretty well, you can actually make an LED light show, which is pretty cool. So there are two drawbacks to this. The first is as you progress and you want to play more complicated songs with guitar licks and complicated riffs, the app may not be able to tell you when to slide a note or to bend off a note. And the product says that the fretboard lies on the neck of the guitar, but you can probably still feel that. But the reviewer says he hasn't really used it. It's all just based off of what he read online. But anyway, he sees it as a great product to maybe learn the guitar. So maybe Brian needs to get this and maybe a guitar. So next time he finds himself roaming around aimlessly his palatial estate, contemplating the latest cat-to-male ratio figures, he can teach himself to play Drops of Jupiter while he sings quite well and is not very hard song to play. Respectfully submitted by the Grandmaster Sensei, Papa Thornton.
God damn it.
So, this is pretty cool.
I'm going to learn eventually, Dad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't learn to play guitar when you wanted me to.
Super disappointment is what I was
Apparently.
saying.
Papa Thornton's review is actually much longer than this and much more eloquent than I could say, and I'm going to put his entire review up on our website, so go check out the show notes so you can see the entire thing. Brian, I will say this.
You know what gets in his craw is because I'm so fucking good at Rock Band. He just doesn't understand why I can't apply it to real guitars.
Because Rock Band is like Simon or...
Right, like that's how I learned.
You know what? Rock Band is a bop it. Right?
Right.
But playing a guitar takes a lot more. It takes finesse, and there's a ton more feel to it than just what you're doing with Rock Band, which is not at all about artistry or feel. It's
like DDR. It's just, they're not really dancing. You're just moving your feet.
You learn.
I beg to differ because when I go to this wedding in September, I'm going to bust out some DDR moves.
You learn a pattern and it becomes muscle memory. And I understand that playing an instrument, there's quite a bit of that, but there's so much artistry involved with playing the guitar that, I think this would be a really cool way to learn it. I'm not, Brian, if you're not, I'm not musically inclined, not that way. So playing instruments I can't do it. I try to play piano. No, like I just can't. I can't do it. Maybe that's you. Maybe Guitar Hero's it.
Well, Papa Thornton said one of the things that he likes about this is for the beginners, it will really keep you honest because it even tells you when you've missed something or you've played something incorrect, so you can go back and try it again. So it really is. I know the one thing because I had tried to learn the guitar, and not only is my brain defective and left-handed and all that jazz, but I need to know where my fingers need to go exactly. And when you look at someone else or someone else is doing it for you, it's just not the same. Like I just don't learn that way. So this is a really cool way just to have, that light up thing as to here's where you put your fingers in, and you really kind of feel like you're doing this, you're guiding yourself, which gives you, I think, in my opinion, a bigger sense of confidence and a bigger sense of accomplishment when you do something like this. And honestly, $200, that's less than, a guitar lesson, a group of guitar lessons.
I think, like I said, I think it's a great way to learn.
It's pretty darn cool. So, Brian, when are you buying a guitar so you can go ahead and get this Fred Zeppelin?
If I buy a guitar without my father present, I will be murdered. Like, I need to FaceTime him and then go to a music store of some kind.
No. You just go to the pawn shop and you look for the one that looks like it was sold to them by a tortured artist. Buy that one.
That works. That works.
So this is really cool. I definitely think it's worth checking out. Go check out, again, Papa Thornton's review / first impressions of this is definitely worth a read. And I'll include a video in this too so you can kind of see this thing in action. It's a pretty cool device. And I think it's just like Josh says, I think it's a great way to start for beginners to learn how to play the guitar. If you're a guitarist and you see this, we definitely want to hear what you think about it as well. So don't be afraid to reach out to us, podcast@thatkindofnerd.com, or be just like Austin and leave a message. We'll tell you how to do that at the end of the show.
I don't know Austin personally, but I kind of want to be like him.
Don't you?
Just saying.
So Josh Burns, of course, being the scholar that he is, was trolling on Thrillist and found this article, Things You Do Every Day That Will Seem Crazy in 50 Years. And when I first read the headline, I'm like, this is really? Come on, really? And then as you read this, you're like, yeah, I can kind of see all this happening. So the first thing is eating, moving, or sleeping without tracking it. Now, in 50 years, that's going to be kind of weird. And I mean, this is where, the Apple Watch and Fitbits and
for a lot of people, it's kind of weird now. For a lot of people, they don't ever take off their monitoring device, the Fitbit or whatever it is.
And there's apps to track food, and there's a social aspect to it, right? On Fitbit and Apple Watch, you can challenge your friends for fitness goals and things like that. But I mean, then we're also talking things like, blood sugar, and we're talking things about, general health that we just don't necessarily measure or look at now with these devices because they're just not capable of doing it. But in 50 years, I could totally see how doing that is going to be a just an everyday thing, like a normal thing. I feel like, though, this is halfway a Black Mirror episode, but yeah, I could totally see
the thing I think when I was reading through this list that struck me the hardest was the setting alarm clocks, right? And
really?
They talk about how, all right, so
like an actual clock.
Not a clock, but any alarm, an alarm on your phone, right? And the thing about it is there are devices that monitor your sleep cycle, and figure out the right point at your cycle to wake you up. The theory is that it's less about how long you sleep, but more about at what point you're at in your cycle when you wake.
Yes.
And what here's my thought process is I sleep in different time zones and different days, and it seems like an increasing amount lately. And so I'm not always sleeping at the right times or for the right amount, but invariably I will feel better or worse, and could be the same amount of sleep at the same time as the day before with no other variables, but I'll feel worse. So I have to think it's about the sleep cycle. And this is the thing that I think improves humanity and then therefore avoids the zombie apocalypse is that when people generally are in better spirits when they wake, they have a better day. If this can help people have a better day every day, sign me up. Sign everybody up. And that was the thing that that's the technology aspect of this that I thought was the coolest. Because everything else is kind of, like to going to the doctor for physicals. Yeah, all right, we measure everything. You still need to go to your doctor. That's never that's not gonna change.
I think the other part too
so
is
much.
if you give your doctor the data, right? If they can get all the data from your health and fitness tracker, all the stuff that you're tracking now, and you give that to them, and then of course you got virtual presence where just something. Yes, I agree. At some point you will have to go see a human. I mean, there's no way around that, or even maybe a robot with a hand somehow. Like, I don't know, but
you don't want a robot with a hand handling your thing.
But I.
That's a really
there was a Big Bang episode about that. You're right.
There was only a few things on this list, CJ. What on this list hit you the hardest?
For me, was passing plates of food around the table, which is the question of, the eternal question of what we're going to have for dinner, and that how your diet could be kind of structured based on your genetics. And instead of getting a meal that kind of fits what you think is healthy and fits everybody, kind of getting more individual meals. And they kind of cited the fact that 3D printers right now can actually make food, that the astronauts use that to have pizza, which is, I just think that's a cool sentence. But that people are going to have individualized foods even within your family. And to me, they kind of splashed into the Back to the Future thing where they had like the dehydrated food, and it was everyone just gets something really small. Food preparation is really quick, so it's not making 4 or 5 individual meals. But for me, it was that your diet could be based off your DNA. I mean, I don't know how that happens, but I can see how that could be a reality really quickly.
I don't think it works for socialization at all. I think that part of the dynamic of a group is that passing around the plates, but I could see 4 days a week those things being predictable and the way it is in my house now, I tailor everybody's meals to them. Like my kids, 2 of them, they don't eat the same thing, and very often Laura and I don't eat the same thing. So I guess I agree, but I think we're already doing that.
Yeah, and the other thing I was going to say, the way that it's kind of already here now, but again, this is going to be every meal all the time is catered. I mean, catered to your DNA is the bigger part, but lunch with my coworkers, we all have lunch at the same time and we all eat together and talk, but we're all making and cooking our own separate meals. And you still get that sense of community, but yeah, it's not like, going to Buca de Beppo and passing the plates around or something like that.
Client dinners are a lot different than that. And I do a lot of those, and it ends up being 12 small plates on the table. Think about the last time all the boys went out together. This was, in like early January,
the
right?
whole group of us went out to dinner together. It was great.
And it was a bunch of small plates being shared by 10 guys. Yeah. So I think there's always going to be an aspect of that, but I do like where it's going. It just wasn't. I think we're already there in some ways.
There's a part on this list popping in regular old contact lenses, and how there will now be you can now have contact lenses that are blink controlled video recording. Or
what the hell is this? Is what pops out to me.
Yeah,
I'm reading it right now.
Things that look at like glaucoma and diabetes, people that. Yeah, so I mean, basically, like having a health and fitness tracker in your eyes. I mean, if we want to talk about Black Mirror, this is the one
that legitimately was an episode of Black Mirror.
Freaks me out that recording that.
I mean, even 50 years from now, I can't see. The problem is anything that does these things requires power. Right? So when there's power, there are impulses sent, and it would have to be obviously some sort of a computer chip in there.
Yeah.
So,
but this is where technology.
I don't see how you wear that on your eye.
Well, this is where technology like wireless charging, and that if that's developed fast enough, that's how you power that. You can have a power source implanted. This is the Black Mirror behind your ear is the size of a grain of rice, and it's not only the DVR, but it's also the power to record the thing. The thing that gets me,
this is the thing on the list that I read and I went, this seems like it's not feasible.
But at the same time, this is also the thing that like augmented reality is trying to do, that you could look at something and get the nutritional information on it, look at a person, see their Facebook or LinkedIn profile.
It's not biological.
Oh, I'm not saying
the problem is it's way beyond the problem goes way beyond technology and into biology and medicine, right?
I think it's more than 50 years out.
Yes,
How do you
that's right
prevent
there.
infection, right? I mean, how do you not lose an eye?
Right.
So this is, this isn't 50 years from now. This is Stardate whatever. But it's not
Stardate
now.
2214.13.
But this is really interesting. I'm going to share the link to the list and again put it in our show notes. Definitely curious to hear what you guys have to say about this. What do you think maybe is going to be something that will seem crazy that we do every day in 50 years? I think it also the addiction to just checking our phones is going to look ridiculous to people in 50 years. I think we're going to have a different way to interact with that. So I'm curious to see what that is on the list. Here is something you don't have to wait 50 years, though, for, and that's the Brilliant Smart Light switch. This looks actually really interesting, really cool. Josh, you saw this product. It's got a 5-inch touchscreen on it. It's got swipe-based gestures. It's got the ability to connect to Sonos, Nest, Amazon Echo, tons of different things. What did you think about this?
I think it's a cool product. I think it's an inexpensive way around automation or integration in a way that will come back and bite you later. Like it's the thing where like you can get it done for a little bit less right now. So you go with these switches and then you end up hating the interface or they wear too quickly or whatever, where you could have spent, I mean, admittedly a lot more for a full integration setup that's run off a tablet that when it breaks, you just replace it with another tablet, right? Where instead of replacing all of your actual light switches, that for me, and then like the light switches age and they never function the right way after a few years, and it's just going to be, I don't know. It just seems like if you can control it with an app, you should.
You can
have another. Well, you can, but you're asking me about how do I feel about a piece of hardware being installed on my wall, and I'd rather not have it.
So you rather just have like HomeKit compatible devices that your phone controls all?
I'd rather have a system. I'd rather have Savant set up and just run that.
So let me tell you a little bit about this, listeners, about what we're talking about. So Brilliant, this is a product that's available to pre-order now, shipping in the summer of 2017. That is a small device that goes onto your light switch. It's got a 5-inch touchscreen on it. There's a model that has like 3 slots that you can drag your finger to raise and lower it. It's got the ability to kind of do a bunch of things. So you can play music with it. You can talk to Amazon Alexa. You can hook it up to IFT and some other smartphone applications that can let you control your home. And each switch right now, the early bird price goes for $149. They're also available in 2, 3, and 4 models for about $249 to $349, respectively. So, I mean, it is rather inexpensive looking at what you get. It is controlled by an iOS and Android app if you're not able to go ahead and touch the screen, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. It also has video cameras built into it for security.
I want you to think about
and then, like,
for a
intercoms.
moment. Think about for a moment, CJ, the 5-inch touchscreen.
Big.
5-inch touchscreen, no contract phones that are available for $149. Okay. Now, I mean, essentially, you're talking about a 5-inch tablet.
Yep.
With a bunch of other functionality for $149. What do you think the quality of that touchscreen is going to be?
Not very good. I mean, honestly, but at the same,
that's where I'm at.
No, I agree.
Is that you're already buying something. You're investing money into something, several somethings likely for your home that are already subpar.
Here's the thought that I
got a problem with that.
I don't live in a house like you do, Josh, and I certainly don't live in a palatial estate like Brian does. I would only get one of these. I would get one for $149, put it in my living room where I spend the most times, where I'm recording right now. Having the ability to have built-in Amazon Alexa, put it into IFT, and start controlling a couple things in my house. I'm actually pretty okay with this. I'm not saying that this is something I would buy, but like if someone's like, "Hey, I bought you this thing, here you go," I certainly wouldn't turn it down.
And no, and I think that when you start,
I wouldn't kick it out of the bed in the morning.
right, when you start talking about just wanting to use IFTY and wanting to use Alexa, you're already talking about a lower level of. It's not integration. It's part specific automation, but it certainly isn't whole home integration. And I'm not interested in anything that doesn't run my entire house.
Okay,
right?
no,
I don't
fair.
care about certain rooms, and that's where I'm at
Fair.
with it. So I've used Alexa. I'm way less than not at all impressed.
Yeah,
Like, I think it's junk.
Yeah.
I've used Google Home. It's junk. None of these solutions are any good. So we're not at the point where we have Jarvis. We're not there. Voice recognition won't do it. It still needs to be app controlled, which means you need an iOS device. You need an iPad. And again, we're right back to automation. Spend the extra money if you want to do that. If you want to control, like CJ said, a couple rooms, I think that one of those junky things is fine, like Alexa or Google Home, combined with the Philips Hue lights and the Nest and the IFTY stuff. Like, it's just that you have to tweak so many different things to get it to work the way you want it to.
And that's the problem, because that's what I have in my house.
Here's what there aren't, CJ, a bunch of great macros.
Yeah.
There just aren't.
Here's what I have in my house. I have a couple Wemo switches set up. I have my phone set up to IFT. So I have a toggle on my notification center.
Why can't you say IFTY like a human
Because it's
being?
called IFT. It's not called IFTY.
It's called IFTY.
No, there's no Y. Where's the Y?
It's 3 T's. It's IFTY. I've never heard it called
it's
IFT ever.
Watch the video. They explain it. It's called IFT.
I've always heard it.
So I have it set up right now with a Wemo, and I have it set up to if this then that. So this way I can pull down from my notification center, and I have a toggle where I just press a button and it does the command. So like it'll turn off my lights at a certain time and all that. And it's fine. I think this is a cool thing, but I'm with you, Josh. It isn't fully there yet, but for $150, I think it may be worth a couple people to try it out. So I'm with you. Let's get it better. But I mean, damn good start. I hope this company doesn't get bought up by Fitbit or something, and then we never hear from it again. So let's move on to a little bit of gaming news. Back in 2015, Xbox head Phil Spencer said that the Xbox One will be able to play select Xbox 360 games. Well, now he is sending out a tweet that said, never say never, and there's a possibility that Windows 10 will be able to play Xbox 360 games via an emulator, which is pretty cool if you own a Windows device. And for a lot of...
It's really great for the whole 10 people who upgraded to Windows 10.
Yeah, okay, maybe that part's true. I was going to say, a lot of the PC gamers, they're probably not running Windows 10 because, I'm on Windows 10 on my Windows device.
And saying that, being like, hey, never say never. We may possibly someday, perhaps, maybe you'll be able to play this on your Windows 10 device that you may or may not own. Like, it's the most ridiculous tweet I've ever heard.
Well, like, hold on a second. Isn't just like either building or buying a decent PC and installing emulators on it, isn't that just better anyway?
Yeah. But the Xbox,
but it'll be built in, Josh.
Who cares?
It's gonna be native.
Look, here's the thing. As much as I love native everything, Brian, as much as that's my personal mantra, it's native with Apple. Native shit with Windows isn't good.
The idea of getting excited about something that might possibly happen is ridiculous. It's like me. Never mind. I was about to say a really horrible self-deprecating joke.
Good.
Nope, you can't backpedal out of that. Come on.
No, you can't. Don't say it.
I absolutely can. It's a ridiculous concept. Like, either fucking tell me if I can do it or don't. Like, don't send out a tweet. It's like the blue balls of the PC community. Is what it is.
This is an announcement about our consideration of one day contemplating the possibility of maybe putting an emulator on a system to be determined at a further date.
For an operating system that not a whole lot of people have.
Which has already been discussed, is in process, and is subject to change.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Hashtag ambiguous.
I don't know why this is news. I really don't. I understand why you brought it up, CJ. I just don't know why it's news. It's ridiculous.
Is there like a department head of Vaguery? Because that's the person who wrote that tweet.
They
Right?
grabbed a PR person. What can we say? You really can't say anything. Yeah, but I got to say something.
What I want to do is say something, but actually not say anything.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to make promises, but I want to get everyone's hope up. But I also don't want to get their hopes up. Yep. Anyway, that's that.
That's the speech that Brad Pitt gave to Matt Damon in Ocean's 11 before he met with Andy Garcia. That's what. Yeah.
All right. Solid. I appreciate it. Well, thank you so much for listening to the show, and welcome if it was the first time that you listened to this show. Now you know what your friends got you into.
We are so sorry if it was the first time you listened to this show. You had to hear a lot of shit. I'm so sorry for you. Please come back.
That's Brian's plea for help. All right, so anyway, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for making us your walk around your neighborhood or your drive to work. And obviously, there's a few ways that you can interact with us. So you can be just like Austin. You can give us a call, and you can actually leave a voicemail, and we'll play it on the show. All you have to do is call 484-373-4119. Again, the number is 484-373-4119. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search That Kind of Nerd. Thank you again so much, Josh and Brian, for coming on this week's episode, and thank you for going lowbrow, as I would anticipate that
It was
you
such
would.
a chore.
And we will see you guys next week.
I have it up. You just need me to hit play?
You have it up
No.
Josh, somebody once told me the world was going to roll me.
It's okay. CJ's not the sharpest tool in the shed. You making me some Tostitos? Hi, Jenny. Get her back in the frame. Put the headphones on her.
Brian wants to talk to you.
Hello?
Hi, Jenny.
Hi.
So, you know I love both you and CJ like you were brothers and sisters of mine. That name is mine.
No.
You can't have it.
You don't even have a girlfriend, okay? I have a baby in my belly.
Well, why don't you go ahead and drive that knife a little deeper? Thanks a lot.
Goodbye.